So I'm just taking a walk through this other wee part of woodland, and look what I've come across. Oh, pop my way through. This, if I'm not mistaken, there's a little focus on the leaf there. This is a little hazel tree, and seems to be a couple of wee hazel trees around here, so that's very fortunate. What I'd be really looking for in hazel tree, if we look down at the bottom of the tree, is these little rods here. Okay, they're about half an inch in diameter, and they obviously get thinner as you go up into the canopy. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of these rods and try our hands at a bit of basketry back at the house. We're not going to take all of the rods. We're just going to take a couple from each tree, and that is the thing that is called coppicing, and that was carried out quite widespread over prehistoric and medieval times as well. It's a way of managing your woodland, and it means that this hazel tree here, you can see the main trunk of it down there is quite thick. It means next year it'll throw out an awful lot more of these rods from the bottom of it as well, as a reaction to me taking a couple of them this year. And so it's a resource that we can come back and exploit year after year after year. So as luck would have it, if I reach into my wee bag, I have my little handsaw, and what I'm going to do is take 2 or 3 rods from each tree, around about a centimetre or 2 up from the bottom, up from where they appear from the main trunk, and that'll ensure that no disease will get into the tree and it'll grow back next year. Okay, right, I wonder if there's any way I can prop this up. So if you can see, we're going to go in. So there's the main trunk of the tree. Go up about 2 centimetres. And take the rod. Okay, and we'll do the same with that one, and we'll leave this wee one here. Hi everybody, for this instalment we're going to do a wee bit of work with our hazel rods that we harvested from up in the forest. So you can see I've got quite a few here, probably about 50 or thereabouts. What I'm going to attempt to do is make a fish basket, and if it's successful I will bring us down to a local little lake and see can we actually catch a fish. These fish baskets are they're quite common in early medieval period, but there was one recently found in an estuary in County Dublin that radiocarbon dated to the Mesolithic period. So it's a technology that is thousands of years old. Probably the most sorry, I got a wee bit distracted there. The best kind of similarity I can probably come up with is if you ever, as a child, used an empty drinks bottle to catch minnows. So it's the same sort of principle, whereas you've got an entrance into the trap, and once the fish goes in, it can't get back out again. So obviously I don't want it too big, so I'm going to cut these poles down to about 3 or 4 foot in length, and then we'll start using the thinner tops of the poles just to weave in and out and in and out, and we'll show you how we get on then. Right, so that's the length of hazel cut. They're about 3.5, 4 foot long, because we don't want to make the trap too big. We've got 9 of them cut to this length, and these are going to be the kind of the structural posts of this fish basket. And what we're going to do is we're going to use just an old plant pot as a form for the entrance into the trap. So what I'll do is I'll poke the hazel rods into the ground around this plant pot, and then we can start using the thinner branches to actually weave in and out and in and out. So there's the form of the pot, the way it's going to take. In the end it'll be like a cone sort of a shape. Obviously the plant pot will not be there, so we'll take that plant pot out actually. Okay, let's see what it says. So it's a case now of using the thinner bits of hazel to weave in and out and in and out, and I'll try and keep it as tight as I can. I don't want any big holes appearing in the sideboard. Obviously if you've got a hole in your trap, the fish are just going to swim out. So I'll start weaving in and out and in and out, and hopefully I'll come back to you. Now the hazel I've got is a wee bit dry. If it'll not flex as well as I want it to, I might have to go up and get a wee bit more, but we'll see how it goes. I've never done this before. This is a complete experiment, so your guess is as good as mine how this is actually going to work out. So I'll start weaving out and building up the wall, and once I get it about 2 or 3 foot off the ground, I'll tie off all these together at the top here, and that will make our kind of cone trap. And then of course then I'll have to make the entrance into the trap as well, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. Alright, so hazel's a wee bit dry, but it is working on the most part. One of the issues I'm actually finding is that I'm getting mixed up in what goes over and what goes under these upright spines. So I've had to kind of check myself and double check and try and adjust what I was doing, but it's getting there. It's getting there. It's not going to be a pretty job by any means, but hopefully by the time I get it up to around about here, and I've got my eye in with it. But it just goes to show the process, or the basic process of how you do it. Okay, I'll keep carrying on and get back to you. So this is what I'm kind of talking about. So if you ignore this one, and you look at the one underneath, that kind of green one. So I've gone over this, I've got under this one, and I should have went over this one, but I've gone under it, you see. So I've missed a space, I've missed 2 out, and that's why that has kinked like that. Fine. So I'll have to unravel this and do that wee bit again. I have to say this is quite infuriating. Oh well to do it now. It's as well as saw it now rather than when the thing was finished. So there we are so far. Like when I said it wasn't going to be pretty, I wasn't lying. I'm just going to leave these off ends until I'm finished. I'm going to cut them off. Hopefully when it has a wee bit of structural stability. But we'll keep going. As I'm going through it, occasionally hear a crack, quite a loud crack, and this is what the crack is. So that'll have to come off. Where the hazel's a wee bit dry, it's actually cracking rather than bending. So that's no good. But it's all a learning curve. Okay, so I've reached the stage now where I want to be given this a wee bit of shape. So you can see the spines of the basket are starting to bow out. That's with the pressure of the ones going around. So I'm going to gather in the top, so I'm trying to make it kind of like a cone shape, I'm going to use some of the string that we made in an earlier video just to tie it in at the top. Okay, so I'll do that and then get back to you. Okay, so that's kind of what we're going for. It's a wee bit bigger than I thought it was going to be, but sure, we'll probably have to go and get a wee bit more hazel. See, so that's the string at the top, just tying it, and what I'll do is I'll cut these bits off when I'm done, neaten it up a wee bit. So now it's just a case of finishing off, weaving in and out and in and out with the hazel, and that'll be that. And then of course trim off, make everything nice and neat. Well, we're getting there. It seems to have developed a bit of an odd shape. It's a bit more of a, I don't know, it's not circular anyway. Started off circular. It looks as if it's a bit more sort of an oval. It's getting harder as I get up towards the top, just because the spaces in between the horizontal poles are a lot smaller, and so an awful lot more of the hazel is actually cracking on me. So I might have to go up and get a wee bit more fresh stuff. I've whipped myself in the face, I've whipped the dogs on the top of the head with it. To tell you the truth, I'm a bit over this at the moment. It'd be a lot easier just to go out and buy a fishing rod. Well, we'll struggle on anyway.